Hello and good morning, students. I again welcome you to your online class. Now, today I'm going to start a new poem, that is Imagination, and the poet is George Bernard Shaw. Let us first know something about George Bernard Shaw. Now, George Bernard Shaw, he was born in 1856 and he died in 1950. He was an Irish playwright, plus he was political activist and critic also. He is considered to be the leading dramatist of his times and has written over 60 plays. That means he was a multi-talented person. He owed so many responsibilities. He was a political activist, fought for the people, spoke for the people, raised his voice for the benefit of the people, for the welfare of the society. And he was a critic also, and through his criticism, people could improve their writing also. He has also written so many poems, you can see, almost 60 plays. He is known for plays such as Pygmalion, and Man and Superman. Pygmalion, maybe you remember, there was a drama, My Fair Lady. It was from Pygmalion only. For his contributions to literature, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1925. So, he has also been awarded by this prestigious award as Nobel Prize for his literature in 1925. Now let's start with this poem, Imagination. Children, imagination this word is not only just written for nothing, but imagination, it holds so many things in it. If Wright brothers would not have imagined about flying like a bird, they would not have invented aeroplane. So it is the imagination that we are into this beautiful world today. We are using so many things. We are using so many things for our comfort, telephone and all these things. Even today we have lights invented by so many scientists. And it was all their imagination, because they imagined that the sun should be at night also. Why the nights are so dark? So Thomas Alva Edison, he imagined that. And that is why today we are under the light and lamps at night also. So this is what imagination is. If a child doesn't have any imagination, his life would be of no use actually. He would not be able to do better things in life. He will just be confined to one place. So it is just the imagination. When you see people going in big cars, you start imagining yourself in a big car. And then when you grow big, obviously you also own a big car and you also try to fulfill your dreams. And the imagination keeps on going on, for a person, he goes on just because of his imagination, just because of his creativity. So imagination gives creativity to a person or a personality. Now let's start line by line explanation of this poem. So here George Bernard Shaw, G.B. Shaw as you can say, he says, I used to play at pirates. So he used to play just like pirates and sailed the seven seas, the seven oceans. Then I was a cowboy. These simple things did me please. So when he was child, as a child, all these things, all these simple plays, they all gave a meaning to him. They actually pleased him. He was happy while playing as pirates and cowboy. He did not know the meaning of pirates at that time. Now, what are pirates? Pirates are the sea dacoits. They used to take over the ships, and they would rob the things at the ships in the sea. So they were the pirates. He did not know the meaning of it, pirates, whether it's a good man or a bad man. Just like the people, when children, when they are very young, they play the game of policeman and the thief. Okay, somebody becomes the policeman and some child will become a thief. Now he doesn't know that thief is a good man or a bad man, but it's just a game, and they keep on playing those games. So, in the same way, when he was a young child, when he was a small boy, he would play uh, as a pirate and as a cowboy also. And all these simple plays really made him happy. I had a vivid imagination. Adventure was always on my mind. So he had a vivid imagination, a big imagination. He would imagine things like anything. Adventure was always on my mind, and he loved adventure. I discovered the joys of reading and escaped the daily grind. Now, actually, this child, when he was very young, he used to enjoy reading also. And when he would read any book, he would just forget things all around him. And then, because of it, what would happen? He would escape the daily grind, the daily things which he was supposed to do. Okay, he would forget that. He would even forget to eat, drink, or anything. He just loved books like anything. Once I lived with the Eskimos in the land of ice and snow. Went hunting and a fishing, my fantasy was all aglow. So, once what happened? He had also played the game of an Eskimo. You can see they live in igloos. Nowadays, we don't call them Eskimos. It is not termed as a good term. Okay, Inuits and all, we call them now. Just like the Negroes, it is not good to call Negroes, but now we call them African American, the dark people who live in America. So, now in the land of ice and snow, so these people they live in the land of ice and snow. You can see this Inuit or Eskimos, they live in igloo, a house made of ice only, so that it can protect them from the winds, the strong winds which keep on blowing at night, during the night. Now, my fantasy was all at close, and then he would play hunting, he would hunt big seals and all, and fishing, catch fishes and all, okay, in the ice. So my fantasy was all at low, at its best. So a glow means at the best, at the top. His fantasy, he would just imagine himself in the world of fantasy. He would read books, and in those books, whichever character was depicted, he would imagine himself as that character, and he would forget things. Like in the movies, when you go for the movies, what happens when you see the characters playing their part? Sometimes you keep imagining yourself also as those characters. The same way, this child also would imagine himself. I read a book of Jules Verne and went off to the moon. Now, Jules Verne, as you have just read in the previous chapter, from the journey to the center of the earth, what is it? It's a fiction and just imagination. So, I read a book of Jules Verne, the writer Jules Verne, and went off to the moon. And then he also took another journey to the moon, just like Jules Verne, who took his journey to the center of the earth. He took the journey to the moon. It was just to take a look. And there, why he had gone there? Just to take a look. Then it was time to return. And then, after having a look at that moon, it was time for him to return. Just as Jules Verne returned back to his destination, home. I spent time in the forest of Africa with Dr. Livingstone as my guide. Then off again to America with Huckleberry Finn I did hide. Now these two, Dr. Livingstone and Huckleberry Finn. So Huckleberry Finn is actually a play. It's written by these American and African guides. So see, I spent time in the forest of Africa, then off again to America with Huckleberry Finn. Now Huckleberry Finn is the character. It's a fictional character created by Mark Twain. You see, Mark Twain was the writer, and he had created this Huckleberry Finn. And what Huckleberry Finn would do, like he was also a mischievous child, a guy you can say, who actually he liked to explore the countryside and get into the trouble for doing so. And whenever he would do something, he would get himself into a trouble. So the same thing he's saying about Dr. Livingstone also, that even he was an explorer in the Africa in actually 1850s. His knowledge of the Nile, actually what is Nile? Nile is the longest river of Africa. If it would not have been Nile, Africa would have been a desert. So it is just because of Africa, the river Nile, that the people are able to survive there. Otherwise, it was not possible for the people or the residents of that place to survive. Now, actually, it was Nile which opened the routes for missionaries and freedom for the slaves. Okay. So now he is imagining about these two also. So what is he saying? He is saying that I spent time in the forest of Africa with Dr. Livingstone as my guide. Then off again to America with Huckleberry Finn I did hide. So he would read these two writers' writings also, and he would imagine himself to be their character. In my world of fantasy and imagination, I performed such wonderful deeds. A hero of all the nations, I was the one that did succeed. So, what he would do in my world of fantasy, in his world of fantasy and imagination, he would perform such wonderful deeds, and he would also succeed while doing those things. And he became the hero of his own nation, and he would succeed in doing all those things. Just like when you keep on imagining yourself as a hero or some character, you think that you become a powerful, and you keep on doing things successfully. Then I grew up my childish world at an end. But after every imagination or childhood, obviously you have to move forward. So what happened? The George Bernard Shaw is saying that then I grew up my childish world at an end and over. Now when he grew up, he was no more a child, and obviously that childish world also came to an end. I had become serious, it nearly drove me around the bend. And now he had become so serious because he was grown. He knew that the reality is something different actually. We just can't keep on imagining things for the whole time or the whole life. You have to do some better things also. You have to fulfill your dreams also now. I still do like the mysterious, and still what he loves, he likes to do some mysterious things, and that is why he keeps on discovering or inventing things. This is the message I am trying to send. So this particular is the message which George Bernard is trying to send to the people, that keep on imagining and then try to fulfill your dreams. So for fulfilling your dreams, obviously you have to work very hard, and don't never say no. That means you just have to keep on working, you have to keep on imagining, you have to make your life good. You don't have to take any tensions or You don't have to be apprehensive about yourself. In fact, you should keep on working on it, and someday, or it will happen that you might get success. You will get success if you keep on working, obviously. So, that's the end of your poem, Imagination.